Welcome to 5 Pints In, the show where we're literally 5 pints in. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So, this is the first video episode we're doing, isn't it? So
we don't know yet, because if it doesn't come off, we're gonna have to do the audio.
Exactly. So if you're listening to this and you're not watching the video, then it wasn't the first video. But if you are listening and you want to see how Ian looks now and how we all look,
can't believe he didn't give me time to wash my hair, like shambles.
You had plenty of time.
You would want me to look with my headphones, get your hair and glasses on.
Yeah, exactly. And
I've
sat you right in the middle just to make you the focus of attention. We've got the spotlight, but anyway, let's get into the football then, shall we? We had the Bundesliga start today, which we'll get into. But the Premier League has a tentative date. What is it, June 12th, I think it is?
June 12th, yeah, for the first game. But the Bundesliga is going to be like a prelim for us to see what the faults are, what's worked, you know, how the players come out of it. You know, we did watch one game. We watched Gladbach.
Yeah.
Missed the Dortmund game.
Frankfurt. Well, we watched
up here.
Yeah, we watched the first half of the Dortmund Schalke game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really sort of... I mean, they're taking every precaution they can, you know.
Even with celebrations.
If they are looking at the German league, which I think they are, to figure out when to start, I think the Germans will do it right, and we should be able to start with Premier League.
So you know, I mean, we'll get to the German bit, but what are your thoughts on it starting? Are you for it? You know, with the obvious worry about, is it the right time? Are you ready? I know it's different in England than it is for us here, because I think things are a little bit further ahead over here. And
as far as reopening,
yeah, and I think that begs to the issue as well. Maybe does it sway you a little bit with the behind closed doors, because we can actually get some atmosphere here by going to the pub and watching it, which won't happen for the fans in England.
Right.
I know that's the point we haven't really touched on, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm in favour of playing behind closed doors. I'm all for the safety aspect of it. I do want football to come back, and look, we don't have to keep repeating it. That it goes without saying it's got to be safe. Test all the players. Make sure if anybody's got anything, then they don't play. There's enough players in the squad now to still go through with the games. You're really looking at the worrying side of it is probably only relegation, because the rest of it is more or less sorted, apart from maybe the Europa League, and that's just between two teams maybe. But for the rest of them, they can coast through the season, maybe use the opportunity to play some youngsters, you know, or test things out, because there's really nothing for them to play for. I know it's in adversity, but it is a decent time for them to actually, you know, blood some players. But I think it should be done. I think it should be finished. We touched upon it last week about my idea. If it doesn't completely finish, I don't believe in the playing in a neutral venue, unless that's for the Champions League.
Right.
I don't mind that if it gets down to the last 8. Let them sort the format out. It's not going to favour anyone or not favour anybody. So
well, look, the World Cup does it. The Euros do it. You know, one team's advantage there, but they still train to play at these neutral grounds. So there's two tiers to this. I'm happy for it hopefully coming back as a fan.
Then why the tears? Joke number 1.
That was terrible.
So that wasn't a setup, by the way. He's told me to say that. So I think as a fan, I'm happy for it to come back, but you know, it's iffy with everything else. I mean, I think if they do it right, like they're doing it in like what they seem to be doing it in the Bundesliga, I think they can handle it. I know there are some players coming out though and saying no, and I think there's some tears there as well. You know,
I think you're going to get players who are really concerned about the effects it will have on their family. You know, somebody may have older parents. Some may have obviously grandparents, most of them, who don't want to come back, catch anything, take it home, and we understand that. It should be optional, and I think managers have said that.
Yeah.
That it is optional. If you don't want to play, then don't play. But I also think, and I don't know if you feel I'm being a bit harsh here, some players are already done and don't care.
Right.
Don't care. They're nothing to play for.
Just sit on the paycheck.
Sit on the paycheck. Yeah. I mean, is that harsh? I don't give a shit. To be fair, it's what could happen, not necessarily what we think is happening. But you've got the variables, and okay, we will feel for the ones who don't want to come back for for the obvious health reasons. There's going to be players who don't want to come back because they're scared of failure, because they don't want to be in that relegation team, because it will affect contracts and families and finances and what have you, and careers, to be honest with you, and futures of clubs. Sometimes you just don't get back, and it's that important. And some players, I feel, won't be able to deal with that. They won't be able to handle that, and are quite happy saying, stop where it is. Obviously, the bottom three won't be, but I know the next three up will be saying, it's stop where it is. It's fine. We're okay with that. Yeah. Because then you don't go down. You still start again next season. But I couldn't have been like that. I would have wanted to. Maybe it's a bit rash, but I would have wanted to get back out and play football. And look, we had a situation in the MLS back in 2001 when you two were just babies, actually. And I never realised at the time, when there was talk about stopping the league where it is, it actually happened to us all them years ago. Because of 9/11 happened, we were actually we were training that morning. We were flying to New York. This was the Tuesday. Did it happen on a Tuesday or a Wednesday? It happened on a Tuesday.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Tuesday.
Right. So on the Monday, Tuesday morning. It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday morning. We were going to train, and then we were going to jump a flight to New York around about midday, 1 o'clock on that day. And we actually, the manager, the coach Ray Hudson, called us in the office after the first plane had hit, and then we had the TV on in his office, and we all stood there and watched live the second plane hitting. And I mean, look, even now when you think about it, I know there was a lot of tragedy. Who's to know that our plane wasn't targeted? You know, we would never have known, and we will never find out. But, you know, the league stopped there with, I think it was 3 games left. And they kept everybody where they were in the playoffs. And we had to go to Kansas, I think, in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. And then San Jose in the semis. And then Ray had said to us, it was only 2 weeks after 9/11. He said, I fully understand if you don't want to fly, those of you with young children, we'll understand if you don't want to fly. And this in light of, they had actually said to us, when we fly to Kansas, we'll have to change as Chicago, whereas we'd always had a direct flight before. They said, we asked the reason of the change, and they said they don't want to put too much fuel on the planes because it'll be too big a bomb. Now, how do you want to fly after that sentence? So, but for me, it was one of them things that, if I didn't fly then, would I ever fly again? Or when would be the next time you'd be okay to get on a plane? And isn't it similar now with when do we come back? When do we actually say it's okay? I'm sure there's enough intelligent minds letting us know, all the scientists and you know, if the testing's right and it's ready for us to go again, I don't see why we shouldn't go. I understand behind closed doors the fans aren't going to be happy. The neutral stadium is ridiculous to me, but I see the concern of, are the fans going to turn up and, you know, the social distancing isn't going to be met, and then it causes issues with the police, and that's so understandable. But look, we've got to go somewhere at some time, and the Germans have made a start, made a stand, and what are the biggest things and the biggest differences that we noticed today watching the Gladbach game?
Yeah, I mean, I think watching it, the football was the same. You know, we mentioned that. There was one. My biggest concern was they've been out for so long. Had they been training properly? Did they have enough time to come back? I can't remember the date the German league started training again. But anyway, I mean, they're training. You know, they barely get any time off during the summer. They get, what, two weeks, I think it is, off.
Yeah, it's between 2 and 4 weeks. Yeah.
And then they're back into it, you know. So did they have enough time? But, I mean, we only saw one player go down.
At the 70th minute, though.
Yeah, with cramp, yeah.
That was one of my biggest questions. Like, are they, like, how is it going to look?
But you can't train properly in a tactical sense, obviously,
right? Because
you're all at home. But you know, you can train properly at a fitness level. Yeah, you push yourself. Yeah. Fitness is about you. If you need somebody to keep pushing you, you're in the wrong game. If you can't push yourself to the extent where you want to be the fittest possible, pot in the kettle, to be fair, you know, because it's obvious we did like a pint back in the day. But you know, you train at home. You've got really nothing else to do. Now, to force yourself to go and train when you've got a regular world, you could say, okay, fair enough. Do your fine time. The odd day you might say, I don't fancy it today.
Yeah.
But there's no excuse. You know, you've got nothing to do but get fit and post a video of it.
Yeah.
And keep up with Jesse Lingard or whatever I've seen out there. You know, 40-minute workout where it's going to keep you in a certain condition.
Yeah.
You know, even coming back in training's not going to be the same. It's not going to be properly. They're still having the distancing. They're still going to gradually get into it. And, you know, if you can't come back properly and do full training, then what is the point of coming back?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was on them to keep up with it, really. But I just don't think, and you would know better than me, running for 90 minutes and that's the best conditioning you can get is playing a game. So I don't know. I just didn't know if there was going to be a bit of a sluggish start, but it didn't seem so in the game we watched. No,
look, the football will never be any different. Once you're on the pitch, you see the ball, you see the grass, you see the players. You're really supposed to be so engrossed in the game that you don't even think about the supporters. Don't get me wrong. The game goes dead now and again, and you feel it. Mm-hmm. And in big games especially, or home games when you know somebody like Dortmund, whose fans are notorious for adding something extra, then players must go out and feel it. But to say you can't play without them there is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what? The only thing I realised, what was there? There was an echo, because, and that's what's the difference with that, the echo in that game, than every last 15 minutes at Old Trafford. Yeah. Sounds like that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There's some crickets involved.
You know, my thing as well, we noticed that the subs were spread out.
Yeah.
Who's Dele Alli going to bitch and moan to when he gets taken off?
Yeah.
There's nobody for him to speak to.
Yeah.
Sit next to him and call the manager names.
I mean, it's just funny. The subs are spread out, but then they get on the pitch and they're not distanced. But, I mean, I'm glad they're taking these extra precautions because that's the only way we're going to get
I think a lot of it is visual as well. It's got to be seen. It's got to be seen to be doing the right things.
Right.
Because some players walked out with, I think one team, Eintracht Frankfurt, walked out with masks on.
Yeah.
And
don't they all
Mönchengladbach didn't. What?
Don't they all shower together as well?
What are you getting into there?
No, what? They have a big
with masks on.
Yeah, they have a big room for showering. They're going to take it one at a time after the game.
Well, maybe they will. Maybe they'll say only so many allowed in. I don't really want to go in there, but
yeah. No,
let's get Trev back on the show.
Yeah. No, I do like that. You see the Haaland, the first goal, and I only just thought about this, but it was a great finish, wasn't it?
Tucked it away, mate. He's the hottest property right now, I think, in Europe.
But when was the last time do you think he practiced his finishing from across? You know, it's been months.
Maybe he's got a big garden.
Yeah, but
maybe he's got a big garden. His dad was there.
His dad was there.
Yeah. Which is fine, you know.
No, but it just shows that he's natural talent.
Alfie would have kicked him though, even in the garden.
He had a few bruises on his leg, but
I do worry about the choreography. You know, after the goals, they haven't had rehearsal time unless they've been doing it on video. They're gonna have to go solo with the dancers.
Yeah, which
I feel bad for them.
Yeah, Lingard's not gonna like that.
It's well, they've had enough time to practice them anyway.
Yeah. Do you think this is also? Do you think the German league pushed back to? There's going to be a lot of eyes on the German league right now. That is the only league back. So I can imagine them gaining some fans. You know, as long as the football is what it is. Do you think that's a big pull for them to just get started back again? Or?
Yeah, well, look, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch anything other than the Premier League. I don't watch La Liga. I don't watch the French league. I don't watch the German league. If I was going to watch one of them, I would watch the German league, but I don't. And looking at it today, the standard of football seemed good to me. Yeah. You know, I think there's still 5 or 6 teams in with a shout. Yeah. Although I know Bayern are a few points clear. And
5 or 6.
They don't play till tomorrow. But, you know, who's to know how this is going to affect individuals? That's what we got to look at. Everybody's different, you know. Mm. So some people will come out and they'll be happy for the lack of pressure with no supporters there. Yeah. You know, because it does affect you. You know, we were on the Manchester is Blue podcast earlier and touched on it. Yeah. That some players will be happier. You know, when you are under pressure, especially in a relegation fight or a promotion push, when it gets to that stage and the pressure does mount, some players break, some players buckle. You know, Upton Park was a cauldron, an absolute. I mean, look, playing there for 9 years, there was sometimes you were scared. Sometimes the ball would go out for a throw and you'd be so close to the chicken run if you was having a shiter that you go, oh, you go and get it, you take the throw in. You know, you have to stand up and be counted, I suppose, eventually. But, you know, it takes big characters, doesn't it, to get through something like this as well. It's different. It's going to affect people in different ways, and it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I'm just happy that they've made a start. I know there was 2 countries that didn't even stop. But nobody's really interested.
Yeah.
So this will be the benchmark for everybody. And like you say, the football wasn't bad. It was free flowing. There was chances. I think that game ended 3-1. You know, there was goals. It still seemed exciting. And the only real difference to me was the echo.
Yeah.
Really. I don't care about the spread now. That can all be dealt with. And in time, that will come back. Let's just see the season out. The only really thing will be the echo. Look, we've all played in reserve games. You know, players should know that, you know, you're coming back from injury or you've been left out the side, that you go and play in a reserve game in front of 200 people. It's no different, really.
Yeah.
It's still football. You're still pulling on that shirt. You're still playing for your club. You're still playing for your supporters.
Yeah.
Still.
With that being said, just to play devil's advocate on that note, you know how in with the national teams, the ban for racism is to play behind closed doors, right? It's usually racism that you see from certain countries. I think England played Montenegro behind closed doors. I don't think that's the right country, but they recently played a team behind closed doors. So surely it's some form of punishment, right? So there's got to be some. They at least assume there's some downside to playing behind closed doors.
Well, that punishment is financial as well, and
true, yeah,
and to let them supporters who've caused the shit know that they can't do that again because you're hurting everybody. I think that's more what that's for, you know. When it is a punishment, this is a necessity,
right?
It's not a punishment; it's a necessity. So everybody should accept it, take responsibility, and supporters as well take responsibility not to go to the stadium. You know, there's all the talk about, oh, the general public's done well with the you know, the separation bit. It's still, if you want this to come back in its full form and get back what you had, listen to what people are saying and adhere to the rules, and don't ruin it. Don't spoil it. That's not me, is it? Did I really say that?
Yeah, you're actually not going against the grain too much there.
No, I know, mate, yeah.
Less than usual.
We've still got a while left, don't worry.
So, one cool thing that has come out of this, I mean, the whole point of this is, you know, let's not just focus on the negative in all aspects, but what creativity comes out of this, right? So, Borussia Mönchengladbach have been really creative with their fans, or the plastic fans that they've got. Not that they're actually plastic fans, but they're cardboard cutouts that they're selling for each
There were so many jokes with that one, man.
Yeah, well, I think I ran through them and butchered every single one. So they're selling like cardboard cutouts. I know they played away today at Frankfurt, but next weekend I'm sure they'll play at home. And I think that's kind of creative. You know, they're selling the seats for 16 or 19 euro or whatever it is. I'd like to see, you know, because that gives the fans a chance to support.
Does the fan have to turn up at the stadium and put his own one in his seat?
Probably not, because that would probably be counter to what they're trying to do.
I remember playing a Highbury, mate.
Yeah,
I remember playing a Highbury, but they argue over whose seat it is. I remember playing at Highbury when they knocked the stand down behind a goal and they put a mural up there. It was like a painted picture of the fans. And it worked to an extent. I mean, you did have the other 3/4 of the stadium, which was full of real people.
But then there was an echo bouncing off that wall.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a cool idea. It gives the fans a chance to support financially as well. They get to give a bit to you know, put their share in, and it'd be cool if they set up iPads so you could watch it from that that angle, you know.
For $16.
Yeah, maybe you give them your own iPad.
That's what they do that with the basketball, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't see, but yeah. So I know in training the Premier League have been putting together rules for them. I don't think they can train in more groups of more than 5. They can't tackle, which I mean they barely do anyway. So
well, look, what could they have actually forgot? You know what I mean? It hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
You know, you've been playing for what, 7-8 months, is it?
Yeah.
7-8 months. What you're not going to forget your tactics, how your team plays, especially if your team have played that way for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You know, so or you're losing that much, there is a fear of coming back and the cramp and the injuries and stuff. But they are allowing 5 substitutes. Something that took a little bit of working out before, but only 3 periods to put them on. So you're going to have to go a 2, and a 1.
Yeah. I wonder if the Premier League and the other leagues will do that, though, because that was something that was decided on Thursday at the last minute for Bundesliga between the clubs. So
yeah,
I bet it'll go down to a vote, probably. Not sure if what they'll do with the Champions League. I don't think it'll be the club vote for that. But
and will it be the same without the VAR souls?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked. It actually, you mentioned we were on the Manchester is Blue podcast, and I just do want to say, guys, go check that out when they do launch that. But,
top man.
It was a great time. I had so much fun with Tom and Dan on there. But we actually talked about VAR souls for the first time in 3 months. Was it that long?
After ripping the arse out of it for the first 3 podcasts or something.
Yeah, I think all our content was driven by that, wasn't it? But I didn't miss them, But you're driven by content, and they was the content, so you couldn't help it. You say, okay, let's not touch on it again. Let's quieten it down a little bit, and then they do something. Yeah. And what could you do but talk about it and figure it out? You can't help but think that the outcomes of the games would have been different, But that's in the past, because they're at least not back in the German league, and I don't think they're coming back for now in the Premier League, are they?
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll allow 5 people in a room.
Yeah.
That closely. I think that will be the biggest factor.
Somebody would torture.
Yeah, I think we've got evidence of you claiming that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Watch that. That's gonna happen.
I don't care. Somebody else could go out and do it now, and I get arrested.
Yeah.
One positive thing though. I mean, let's talk about the positives for Man City. I mean, Laporte's been able to fully recover. He'll be able to play out the rest of the season.
Mendy as well, yeah.
Mendy should be back. I mean, he's very injury prone, isn't he?
David Silva signed.
So that brings us on to the whole contract renegotiation thing about players' contracts running out. I know a lot run out June 1st as well, a lot in Europe. So it's going to be individual negotiation, but Silva has signed an extension to say that he'll play out.
Well, it should go until the season goes. It should be extended anyway. There's always been sign a month to month or a 3-month or whatever. It's not going to change anything, or at the end of the day, let them go now. I mean, well, if I was City, I wouldn't, because they've still got something to play for. If the Champions League goes ahead, you don't want David Silva leaving before that.
No.
But as far as other clubs who've really got nothing to play for, then why not let it happen now?
Yeah.
Why not get ahead of the game when the transfer window does open? Get ahead of the game and let it happen now.
Yeah.
David Silva's it's not going to generate a ton of cash for the club.
Right.
I think they're just going to allow him to go.
Well, it won't be any, really, will it?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but they would do that for him anyway, I think. As a gesture of what you've done for this club. And I'm glad that he's sticking around. I mean, I would be happier if he stayed for next season, but obviously he's got his own plans. He wants to be back home.
Yeah.
There's been whispers about him coming to David Beckham's team in the MLS, which I don't see happening. There was also talk of Luis Suarez.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was linked.
I don't see happening.
Everyone was linked, and they can only have 3 designated players. So,
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe next season. I don't know.
No, if Suarez bites someone in America, he's getting deported straight away.
So how is this then? So how do you think this affects West Ham then, with their sort of fight before the season got cut? Does it affect them positively? Have they had time to regroup, or do you think it puts a lot more pressure?
Well, they were on a bit of a. I think they were on a recovery with their form, wasn't they? The last 3 games. I know they lost at Arsenal, which I was at, but I think they beat Southampton before that. They played really well at Liverpool. So them 3 games, the City game before that was a complete letdown. I think it'll give them a chance to regroup. Yeah, it may look. Playing at the London Stadium hasn't been easy for them anyway. So will it make a difference without the supporters there? Will it take a little bit of pressure off the players? It's not the supporters' fault.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. It's the players' fault.
Yeah.
Nobody but the players. The supporters want to blame the board. The players want to blame anybody but themselves. It's solely down to them. Now, when we're talking about some players may come out without the pressure, that's the perfect place. I think that's what will happen there.
Yeah.
I think I think Moyes will get them rattled up. I have no worries about them surviving. I never did. I'm more of a concern about Bournemouth, which I think they will play their way off. I can't see the vitality. I know it's small, tight. I can't see that being a major advantage.
Right.
I love the fan base there, and I was due to go to the game when I was home, but that's not going to be one of them intimidating stadiums. So I think they should come out of it okay. Villa, if you look at them, Watford's sort of a small club. Villa's a big club. That it may be different for them not having their fans there. So who knows? Brighton similar. It's a smaller base club. It's not going to be intimidating, but you need that surroundings that you recognise for the players anyway. It's still your home field. It's still your home dressing room. It's still the same routine.
Yeah. It's
just when you go out there, you're not going to have the noise.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be any different. You still should make it your favour. It's weird when you do think about it, because when you play at your own stadium so often, so many years or whatever it is, you start to recognise things like billboards, or you know exactly where you are on the field, looking up at the stadium, looking up at the stands, and with your back to goal, or you sort of get a sense. You don't purposely do it, but you seem to have a sense because you recognise everything around you. So that's a big talking point. I do believe it should be, if it is finished, it should be played at your own stadiums.
I agree, and I think they're, like I said, from the Bundesliga, they're putting in some really tight restrictions and some solid precautions, and I think as long as it goes that way and they follow suit, it could definitely work out. I also like a lot of the times people don't realize, but the pitch sizes are different, aren't they? So the pitch size can vary. So who knows whether that makes a conscious difference or in your subconscious? But if you're used to playing one way, one size, I know it's not massive difference, but
well, look, also the German fans, we'll find out after this weekend, did anybody turn up outside the stadium? I can sort of forgive it if it's the last game and you've won the title or promotion, or you've stayed up from relegation, that they do congregate then, maybe. I could understand that happening, but then there's no more games after that. They're still breaking the rules with the social distancing, but I think that'll be the only time. If they're sensible enough and want this to go back to normal the sooner rather than later, then they'll adhere to the rules.
Yeah. So really, the teams and the clubs and the leagues are doing everything they can. The fans need to chip in as well. Do their part.
Chip in as well. Look, you are going to get some supporters, I think, of teams fighting relegation that are a little bit disgruntled and do want to show some defiance. But that's not the right way to do it.
Right. At the end of the day, football's emotional, isn't it? So it's and
it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right the way through.
Yeah.
You can see how it affects. You watch any of these documentaries on the clubs, you don't really get an insight until you see them.
Yeah.
And you see what it means to the people involved.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about the Wembley final, and until I seen the video of our reunion, when it showed you some of the supporters, because we didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
It showed you some of the supporters in the stadium and their emotions when things happened, and then them talking about it afterwards, hearing their voice and what they were thinking and what they were going through. It makes you understand, what it means to people.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I know Danny Rose said he doesn't care about the morale of the country, but I'm not fully in favour of all that, mate. I think this game is the biggest thing we have.
Yeah.
And I think it will give everybody a lift as long as it's done properly. It will give everybody a lift. Let's hope they can find a way to televise the majority of the games, so nobody does have to go and stand outside the stadium.
Yeah.
And look, if you're worried about people congregating at the stadium, aren't people going to congregate round houses and watch it together? Isn't it the same thing on a smaller scale?
Yeah.
It is going to happen, but be sensible about the whole thing,
Yeah, I know they were talking about televising the 3:00 games, which should help.
Good for the rest of the season. The reason they don't is finances, isn't it? It's
They wanna
wanting
get
people to
people
turn
out
up to
there.
the stadium, but that's not going to happen. So they should find a way,
Yeah.
you know, of making every game televised like it is here.
Do you think we'll see a bump in the numbers of ticket buyers when we get back to it fully? Like, do you think people are gonna say, well, I should have taken advantage of, you know, whether it's or season ticket goes, whatever it is? Do you think we'll see more people in the stadium once we're back? I mean,
I think attendances are up there anyway, aren't they? You know,
Yeah, but it's who's filling those seats. Are they gonna be standing up cheering, or are they just gonna be sitting down? You know?
Well, it depends. What if we come back and it's 50% capacity because of we're getting back slowly, you know?
Yeah. Well,
it might be somebody every 2 seats.
I think that'll fuel it even more then. I think, you know, they were already building onto the Etihad and Anfield and building new stadiums to increase capacity. I just have this feeling like people are, you know, especially football fans, ready to get back to it once things are safe, you know?
Yeah, but those season ticket holders, I don't know about the rest of the clubs, but Barca are one of the main clubs that have came out and stated they're not sure if they're actually going to refund the season ticket holders. If you've already purchased that and that was maybe your first season that you did it, second, whatever, like, do you actually go, all right?
How many games have they got left, mate? You know,
8 or 9.
have they the same La Liga?
Similar. I want to say though, Barcelona are financially in trouble though, so that could crunch them. So what they should do is say, hey, we'll give you another season or something.
Get a loan off Messi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or loan or sell Messi to City. That's always an easy option. But
he's never leaving, mate. He's never leaving. I've given up on that.
Yeah, I know, but they're not great financially. I want to say Real Madrid were solid financially, but there's only a few teams in La Liga.
Let me disappoint you. There's more chance of Pep going back to Barcelona.
No.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, more chance. I just still don't see it. But,
not before he wins the Champions League.
Yeah.
And more chance of Sergio going there.
While Suarez biting people in America.
I think Pep's not going to go back and do something he's already done. He's going to go, when he leaves City, he's going to go for a new club. He's going to go to Italy or...
He always said he wanted to return to Barca, though. Or retire there, I think he said, as a manager. But he's still young.
He's got his ties, obviously. He's extremely tied there with being a player and stuff, but... I think he's always looking for that next challenge, which is why we got him.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I don't see where the next challenge is unless it's Italy, unless it's Juventus.
It wouldn't be Juventus though, would it? It would be one of the Napoli or Roma or don't you think Inter? I don't think. I think Juventus.
But that's a huge step down.
I just
from
don't
Bayern Munich, Barca, and Man City.
Yeah, but I don't see him going to a team who's won Serie A for the past 7 seasons or so. Like, what is it? The challenge.
Well, he went to Bayern.
Yeah.
He did Barca. He came to Man City. They'd already won.
Yeah, but Man City weren't winning it every season, were they? Well, so it wasn't like a given.
But Barca and Bayern are powerhouses, while Juventus, as much as they are in their own league, they weren't as much in the Champions League.
No.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he'll go international and try go Euros?
I can see
that.
He said he
but
would
it's too much without football, though.
He said he would manage England. You know.
I would love that.
Yeah, he said he offered his help with Southgate in the World Cup.
He obviously listened then.
Yeah. Clearly didn't need it.
He played Eric Dyer.
Yeah, I mean, how much more coaching could Slabhead use, you know? He's already
What's it made? Somebody coming in here now.
Yeah.
Jumped over the seats.
So, talking about La Liga then, and Real Madrid. This is me trying to transition into City playing Real Madrid in the Champions League.
That's okay.
So, Connor, you said they've got a date for the second leg?
Yeah, they said it's penciled in for August 7th.
Okay.
Well, that must be the whole of the Champions League starting again then, yeah?
Yeah, or at least those select teams, unless they just all do them in one day.
So do you think they'll have to finish the second legs before they decide the format of the last 8?
I think you have to.
I'm fine just giving Bayern Munich 3-0 against Chelsea and calling it that, and going home without it being
I wouldn't be, you know, we spoke
9-0.
We spoke about
that. Well, you've got a chance. You've got to go.
Obviously.
I always say if they can do it there, you can do it there. And that's
I'm buying. Like I said that with the Bayern game, they're not as strong as they were. It could have been like 3-3.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, I seen a little clip of Barcelona-Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it was a little clip of them before the game when they came to Liverpool to play the second leg.
Mm-hmm.
and there was a little bit of anxiety, even though they were three goals up, and I don't know whether it was Messi said it or Suarez, because he'd been there, said, don't take it for granted. We can win 3-0 here, and they were a good team. They can win 3-0 there.
I mean, you saw it in the first leg. If it wasn't for that amazing free kick that he scored,
I think it wasn't a turning point for Firmino hitting the post. When it was 2-0, it would have been 2-1,
and it still seemed like Liverpool could come back.
I thought then if that had gone in, Liverpool would have won the tie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then the free kick, you just had to start laughing.
Well, you must admit, you got that feeling of dead and buried once that one went in.
Yeah, I mean,
not coming back from 3-0.
And then you also got to think in your next game at home, just don't give a free kick anywhere within 40 yards. Otherwise, Messi's putting it in the top corner.
And he actually did have one when they were 3-0 down at Anfield. He had a free kick, I think.
Did he?
Messi did, yeah.
You look at
that's what it said in that video that I seen.
You look at Trent Alexander-Arnold too, taking that really quick corner.
Yeah, for Origi.
Yeah, for Origi, who just swung at it, and it went in. But that's belief.
But that's not something Chelsea are going to do.
No,
that's not. You're talking about a Liverpool team that's in form.
Yeah.
And then not so much.
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see it because they're English. I would like to see them come back. But
don't get me wrong.
I just don't see it because I don't think Bayern are great anyway.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're
and
not.
I actually didn't see the Chelsea Bayern first leg anyway.
Bayern weren't the greatest. We just don't have the best defense. So it's whether we go out and score a couple, it's still.
Did Alonso got sent off that game?
Yeah,
they're obviously going to have to carry over the red cards and everything.
It's been so long.
August seems quite late, though, to me, to resume Champions League.
It's not going to be that many games, though, mate, is it? I think they're letting people get back in the swing, maybe get a fitness level.
But here's the confusing part. Bundesliga are planning on being done with their league June 30th.
Right.
So how are they? So Bayern are then going to take a summer or something and then play Champions League in August? It's just... if Premier League
have to go through another pre-season again.
Yeah,
I mean the Champions League stretched out throughout the whole entire season, so
but
maybe it's just more games next season because of these 5 extra Champions League games if you make it to the final.
Yeah, but now you're playing last year's Champions League in this season. It's just I don't know.
But you normally get a few weeks before the Champions League starts.
You look at those players like Mane. When Yaya Toure did it, those ones that would go to the Africa Cup of Nations, you would sacrifice, especially in the beginning of the league, you would sacrifice those players.
Yeah, but then the next season isn't going to start in August, or it's just not going to happen.
Well, then where
September,
are the Euros?
Maybe October, probably.
Then
if they go from June the 12th and play the rest of the season, there's no way the league's going to start till September, October.
That's what I'm saying. So you're going to finish Champions League before? I'm just saying it's like Bundesliga are going to be done by end of June, and then July. I mean, 1 month. There's 1 month of just, I guess, pre-season you would call it.
Yeah, but they've also had these last 2 months off. So.
Well, I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm just saying why are they waiting until August?
If you go a 12-month calendar, they've had more time off than they would if they just started again straight away. Yeah,
I'm just saying it's weird though, is it not? Like your season's going to be done and now you're playing in group stage in knockout stage.
Well, that's just tentative anyway. Nobody knows if that's going to happen. Nobody knows if the Champions League's going to finish. So
right, but why are they waiting until August?
I think they're letting other countries sort out their league season.
Just
maybe
finish them off.
Yeah, make sure because not everybody's starting at the same time.
But what happens if we get to June 12th and Premier League is like now push it back to August? It's a weird one, and
I think the different countries are behind with this virus, aren't they?
They're
coming back from the virus.
There's probably only like 8 countries left in Champions League.
I don't even.
I'm saying
quarterfinals.
There's a lot of permutations anyway, so it's not going to. But has there been any transfer rumours? Any talk? The ongoing Sane.
Well, it's just come up again.
On and off.
Bayern have supposedly offered something stupid, like 35 million.
They want to get him for cheap, and then City have said they'd rather wait and then let him go for free
than sell to Bayern
for 35.
It's just
but that's how much 35 million means to you now.
Right.
It's nothing. I mean, look, 35 million to get one more season out of him is worth 35 million.
Yeah.
In my book.
Yeah.
So I would keep him, and I would let him go at the
It
end
could
of it.
also be, who knows, it could be a season where he changes his mind. It's an extra year for him to change
But
his mind if he
look,
wants
right
to.
now, if they don't...
Well, he's recovering this whole time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but right now, if they're not going to get the
He's
100
back,
million
isn't
or so that they
No.
want,
Yeah,
or they Bayern aren't going to pay that because
No.
they know they've only got a year to wait,
right.
right?
But
And
someone
then
else might, right?
I very
No,
much doubt
it,
that.
It looks like, other than Barcelona,
Yeah, and he's not going to go anywhere.
you know,
You don't think PSG could come in?
what
50 million?
Mbappe, Neymar, like. who's
But
he-
but apparently Neymar. There's another rumor. Neymar's going back to Barcelona. Griezmann's going back the other way.
Oh, there you go, Griezmann, Mbappe.
Yeah, I don't rate Griezmann.
Right,
though.
good news. Fernandinho signed another year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Happy days.
Yeah, he did that though.
Let's hope he gets to play in his position,
Yeah,
or at least competes with Rodri, or
yeah,
we get the best one playing at the best time.
yeah.
Who else?
Torreira.
Yeah, my Arsenal. Torreira's agent. Who was it? Somebody spoke the other day and said, "I've spoke to his mum about a possible transfer." I can't remember the player. I wish I would have known.
20s?
I wish I would have known.
Yeah,
Some manager has spoke to his mum about a possible transfer.
yeah.
That's where we're going.
You see, Gallo's gone back from United back to China.
Yeah.
And he was over the moon about being at
Got
United,
lucky.
wasn't he?
He got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I don't think I've seen. I mean, City are always in the market for a centre back. They've been linked with Upamecano. They've been linked with. Koulibaly would be great, but he's going to cost some cash.
Yeah,
But he would be a presence as far as leadership at the back.
yeah, which is needed, I think.
Yeah. But yeah. Other than
Yeah,
that,
Torreira's agent has said he thinks he's going to leave the Emirates. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Take Granit Xhaka with you
That
as
was
part of the deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you think? Because obviously, as an Arsenal fan, where do you start with the rebuild? I mean, what do you think Arsenal need right now?
I don't know. A clean sweep, but mate, if you look at their record, I think they only lost 6 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, due to their goalkeeper and the two.
Well, yeah, they lost
forwards.
less than Man City,
Yeah.
but they don't look like a football team to me. And I'm not convinced by Arteta as of yet with what I've seen.
Yeah.
Strategy-wise, I thought being under Pep for that long that you'd see some similarities, and I just don't. I don't see it yet. I'm not saying it's not there, but I just don't. The games I have seen, they don't excite me at all.
Mm-hmm.
When Pep first came, he made some dodgy calls.
Bravo,
letting go of Hart. Yeah,
Bravo.
yeah. That's 2 for 2.
I know. Yeah, but it is going to happen. But in the beginning, fine. But he's had how long? How many months? 6 months? 5 months?
It was January, wasn't it? You went,
Was it?
I think.
Well, long enough. I mean, I wasn't convinced with Unai Emery, to be honest with you, because he was doing similar stuff.
Yeah.
I thought I was happy when Arteta went. Was he a loss for Man City? When you've got someone like Pep, I very much doubt he was a loss. You don't know how much input he really had.
Yeah.
And it was going to show whatever he learned under Pep, or what he felt he was ready for management, and being an ex-Arsenal player, I was obviously happy with him going back. With him being a creative midfield player, even better. For me, he was going to show some flair in the way he wanted the team to play. Maybe it's not his team as of yet. Maybe there's going to be people he wants to bring in. I think he's got 4 or 5 really good players
Yeah.
that he has to build a team around.
Yeah.
Wipe out the whole of the back line. You like the goalkeeper, don't you? I'm still not convinced.
I know. As soon as Unai Emery came in and said Wilshere wasn't going to be in his starting 11, I knew that was going to be like the downfall of Arsenal.
I think it just meant that he was injured.
Yeah. I mean, they've got Aubameyang and Lacazette. I think they're great players.
Well, I think Pepe's got ability as well. I think you've got to harness it.
He really does, but then
he
he's just missing something huge.
But I seen Unai Emery said he never wanted to sign him. He wanted Wilfried Zaha instead of him, and he had no say in them bringing him in. But I think he's got talent. I really do. He's just
and a lefty,
Yeah, you've just got to harness it. You've got to harness his ability and get the most out of it.
Mm.
I mean, look, what about West Ham? There's always the talk about Declan Rice. I see on Twitter now, most of the fans are debating who should they get rid of. Should they let Lanzini go? Should they let Felipe Anderson go?
Yeah.
2 really gifted players.
I wouldn't let
I wouldn't let either of them go. But both of them need to step up.
Yeah.
Both of them have been disappointing. You know,
they've almost got this thing where they're big fish. They feel they're big fish.
They
in a
feel
small
like
pond. I don't think
Payet.
they are. Yeah, Payet got that near the end, you know, but it's sort of.
And then disrespected.
But they're flashy,
Yeah.
aren't
Arnautovic
they?
did the same.
Yeah.
You know, Moyes had transformed them and then he disrespected the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes
As far as
around,
I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think. Look, West Ham belong 7th, 8th. I think as high as that.
Top
you know,
10,
I think they're not a club that belong in the bottom half of the table. I think once you get there, you can keep hold of these flashier players. You know,
I would keep David Moyes on. I
Yeah.
would give him another year, another 2 transfer windows.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they've showed the last 3 games, I
Yeah.
think there's something there that he can build on.
Yeah.
And I think he's proved to me that he can get the best out of them. I don't think it's a final lineup that he would like, but Haller needs to improve. To be fair,
Yeah.
if you can start fitting him in with Antonio, and you know the young lad Bowen looked lively when he came out. I know when I was at the Emirates watching the game, he had a couple of great efforts and his enthusiasm. He was chasing back. He's a lefty that was put on the right side of the midfield and chasing back. You know, I think if you can get the full potential out of that squad, add 1 or 2. You know, I still think Nobes is a driving force. I know a lot of
him and Rice.
I know a lot of supporters think you know he's done his time, but I still think he is the energy and the driving force. He passes the ball as good as anybody.
He's a leader, isn't he?
He is a leader. Yeah,
I
know. Look, if
clubs
things
like that, you need that. Even if he's a shit player.
he's one of them players to me that if the team's winning, he will be praised every week, and if they're not, people will sort of dig him out because he's not spectacular.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfair because he's still playing the same. He still always gives everything. Plays the same, but if they're winning, he's great. If they're not winning, they tend to look at him, and I don't think that's fair, to be honest with you. But you know, and look, the game's about opinions, and fans will always have their opinion. And you know that's what we're here doing this for. We're giving our opinion on a lot of subjects, a lot of topics, a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't let Rice go. I hope they've got to prove now. I think to the supporters, especially after this time, where I think they've had a chance with this break to, I mean, the owners and the board, and to regroup and say, how do we fix this? Because there's obviously a divide. We don't want a Newcastle situation,
right,
where everybody hates them and can't wait for them to go.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity now for them to put some money together, maybe, and unite the club again.
Mm-hmm. Just to touch on the Noble thing before we move on, the captain's armband. That's the pressure he's taken on, though. He's signed up for that by being Mr. West Ham.
He would step forward every single week,
Yeah.
every single game, no matter what the circumstances, and the right man wears it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and let's hope he is blood and no grooming someone like Declan Rice to take it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the few captains you see that don't shy away.
Yeah, well that's what you want. You want men out there, mate.
I mean, you see the likes of Henderson who like try to portray a captain and just doesn't have it. You see him yelling at Mane, trying to tell him, pointing out where to go, and then as soon as he gets the ball, he passes it back.
Yeah. I mean, I think at Liverpool, the armband's destined for Van Dijk anyway. You know,
it's
a matter of time. Yeah.
It's,
I think he's done okay, Henderson. To be
I think
fair.
as a captain,
he had big boots to fill as a captain. Mate, you know what I mean?
He had boots he was never going to fill.
Well, no, I don't know who would fill. I don't know who would fill Steven
Yeah, I know.
Gerrard's
That's what I'm saying.
It's tough, you know.
Yeah,
I wish he would show that.
Outreach, you know.
I wish he would show that with England. I wish he would, you know, because look, you've got some people.
Harry Kane's not our captain.
No.
You've got some people who are organisers, and you've got some people who lead by example with the way they play.
Yeah.
Julian Dix was the model captain, leading by the way he played. Wasn't vocal, wasn't really an organiser. If he screamed at you, you'd listen, but it wasn't organisation, you know.
Yeah.
It was this who I am on blood and guts, and I'll die for this badge. So you do get, and I do feel Henderson contributes in that sense, because I think you've got to gain respect from your teammates, Con, and I think he has that, even if he doesn't from all the supporters and the likes of some of us who see it from the outside, who aren't Liverpool fans, you know.
Nah, yeah.
But like I said, look what they've gone on. They've gone on to take the Champions League. They've gone on to win the Premier League under his leadership. He must have something.
I don't know. I think that's the position that if Liverpool replaced and fixed on, they would be one of the best teams ever. I think when people hear him, they would kind of, like, the players on his team kind of look at him and go, "Oh, all right, I'll probably do that." And then if Van Dijk gave him a look, he'd be like, "All right, never mind, I'll do it."
Well, you can tell, mate. Some people are leaders like that. Some people, look, he's just been brought into the club. You don't automatically take it off your captain when things are going right and give it to somebody else. You know, you've got him wearing the armband, which gives him a sense of, I should be a leader. And maybe sometimes you do it to make people talk. Van Dijk's already doing it. I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
so he's already another captain at the back. So you're getting two for the price of one.
See, my point is he like automatically gets an England spot with that. You know, it's like...
Well, everybody gets an England spot, mate.
I know, but...
That's the thing I don't like, that if you're English, you play for England.
I mean, he's overrated, that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Because
he's
the captain.
I agree as a player. I think there's a different conversation with his leadership. I think he must... I agree with you. Right. I think he must have something. But I agree, he's not a great player.
Yeah, maybe it's something behind the scenes. Like, with Delph, I never rated Delph when he was at Villa, when he came to Man City. I never rated him until I saw the All or Nothing documentary, and I was like, all right, I love this guy now.
Yeah,
I never knew how much of a presence he was, even when he was never playing.
Yeah,
you know.
Do you think so? Something to do with captains, and we've been talking about manager changes and how long, like the likes of Arteta, should be given. When you were playing, was there any memorable moment? Was there any memorable managers that came in and you thought, oh, he's just clicked, or oh, this isn't going to work? Like, from the dressing room standpoint, was there any, you know, I mean, I don't want you to out anyone here, or, you know, any managers that you thought that...
out people. I thought he was going to talk about me and Trev again, but for me, mate, I mean, I was in a little bit precarious position, to be honest, because I'd left Bournemouth and signed for Man City. Mel Machin signed me, and I thought, brilliant, you know, somebody who believes in you, is willing to spend money, bring you into this massive club.
Mm-hmm.
And within 4 or 5 months, he gets fired.
Yeah.
Right? Within 3 weeks, I'm sold. I go to West Ham, Lou McCarty, and within 3 months, he gets fired.
Yeah.
So then you start to doubt, you know, you start to think, well, these people who wanted me and obviously failed at their job.
Yeah.
So was they wrong to want me? You start to doubt yourself then, you know? But then Billy Bonds came in, and... talk about captains, talk about inspirations, talk about club legends. I don't think they come much bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy wouldn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Billy wouldn't portray that. He's a most honest man, one of the nicest people you'll ever come across. Don't get me wrong, don't cross him.
Mm-hmm.
Because his management style was, if you've got a problem, you're knocking on my door in my office, let's go in the gym and sort it out like men.
Yeah.
Not many would. To be honest with you, I think Julian sort of called them out one day, and thankfully they didn't go at it, because there'd have been destruction.
Yeah,
there wouldn't have been a gym left, I can tell you that. But he inspired you in the way of his, you know, the memory of him and the way the fans portrayed him, similar to Bobby Moore. You know, he was the next one on from that, and for him, somebody like him to choose me as his captain. You know, I mean, people think if you're a sort of flair player, whatever, you can't be a leader.
Yeah.
But I talked on the field all the time, mate. Whether it was noticeable or not. You look at how many pictures, and people laugh at it. How many pictures of me pointing?
Yeah.
I never noticed. Yeah. I never noticed.
There's even one at Bournemouth when you were young.
Well, young, even then, I only had the one season. I'd come from Carlisle, you know. Yeah. I still wanted to organise on the field.
Yeah.
I still wanted to vocalise and encourage people and know when to give someone a bollocking. Know when a frustrating time when you knew your teammates had ability and wasn't producing it. You know, then you need to coax it out of them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you'd go over, you'd grab, you know, somebody like Peter Butler, you know, who was a little Yorkshire Terrier and a fantastic player to play with. And he'd be the first to admit, not the most gifted, but he would run around and ruffle everybody and disrupt. And then sometimes you'd have to tell him, when you get possession, you're a better player than you think you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he knew he was that terrier. And I've heard him on podcasts, and he's had some, and we should get him on because he's had an unbelievable time since he left playing, going around the world coaching, and he's got some stories, and I've got some stories of him, to be fair. One from Cheltenham that we'll have to say for the podcast, but it is one of my favourites of all time. And he told his version of it, which isn't the version we know, because he doesn't see himself and didn't remember anything. So, but somebody like him, you'd have to grab him around the scruff of the neck. I know he said on there, you were talking about him disrupting Wimbledon and Vinnie Jones, and we went on to win the game. He said, I just knew, I playing along someone like Bish alongside, that I'd have to go and win it and give him it and let him do his stuff. And I'd have to tell him, you're better than you think you are, because he was. Yeah. The boy could pass the ball, you know, and in a team like West Ham, you had to be able to pass the ball. Right. You wasn't just in there for your tenacity. You had to be able to play. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that players and leaders recognise each individual and how to try and get to them when you're on the pitch. It was fine for me being in the centre of everything, because I could reach everybody. So that year I was captain was also probably my most successful season, if you're talking of successes, because in that one season we got promotion, which was a bit of an anticlimax, to be honest with you, because we knew we were promoted with about 5 games left, and we didn't celebrate. We were going for the championship, so it wasn't just promotion, it was the top of the tree. And we ended up throwing it away in the last game of the season and really dulled the celebrations. We hadn't celebrated 5 games earlier, and then we couldn't celebrate because we felt like we'd thrown it away, even though we got promotion. And then we got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup that year. So I'd like to think I led that team. Yeah. You know, obviously Billy led it, being manager with Harry alongside him, but I feel as captain that I led that team to a fairly successful season. And personally, I made the PFA Select team that year, which is voted for by every player in your division, which is an honour, real honour. And that was the only time I couldn't make it to the PFA Awards, to tell you the truth. Yeah. And the other 5 times I went, I shouldn't have gone because I was drunk and should have barred myself. That's other stories for other times. Yeah. I will tell quickly, I did, when Pele was doing a speech, I did stand up once and say, what the fuck have you ever done? So you get the idea. Yeah. Why I had to bar myself. I think Trev told a story when he filled all my pints full of vodka.
Just a preview of what's to come there. we could just do a series of at the PFA Awards, and we could bring people in. No. But I've got 2 questions then coming off that that managerial question and managers coming in. So the first one would be, when Billy Bonds came in, was there something you could pick?
Oh, and by the way, I got an England cap that season as well.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit better than Trev's one.
Yeah, his non-league.
but still not a great one, to be honest with you. I'm proud of the Lions. I'm not proud of what happened.
Yeah. Do you still have that England shirt?
Yes, I do. It's in the bucket with the rest of them. And somebody has actually quoted, I've just recently got the Shearer one out because of Blackburns. Yeah. And somebody went, oh, is your iron broke? They've been in the box for 20 years, maybe.
The bottom of a well.
Yeah. They've been in so many storage facilities. Yeah. As we've moved about.
It's a shame. Just bring them up here, and I'll see what we can fit on the.
The dog will have them in the bed.
See how many we can fit on Craigslist.
I don't think you're gonna have Noble, Aguero, Ian Bishop's England P.
No, but there's some others.
We'll
in
just
there.
Put your little cap right here.
Got me cap as well. Got me cap. Just stick it on there.
Yeah. So 2 questions then. So first one, when Billy Bonds came in, was there something about him that you could pinpoint that just worked? Was there a certain trait about him? Or
what? You didn't want to disappoint work-wise.
Yeah.
He was, even in training, mate, he joined in. I think he was about 45 at the time, maybe. He joined in. He was still up the front in all the running. When he joined in the games, got his foot in. And you think, this man's the manager. Doesn't need to be doing it. Yeah. And you didn't want to let him down. Just look, the sheer love of the man. you know, his honesty, the way he treated you. You know what? Harry used to tell us the story about after the game finished, you know, with that lot. They were drinkers back then as well, you know, Moro and H and they had Jimmy Greaves. Talk about drinkers, the best of the best. He said Bonzo, as soon as the game finished, he'd be out with a 6-pack in his hand or a 4-pack, whatever, and he'd still be covered in sweat, soaking clothes, and he'd be off home.
Yeah.
But he'd have his beer, and then he'd be off home. He said he'd be first. He's like a family man, but still had a beer. And I remember, like, I'd come in on a Monday, and he'd say, "Good weekend, Bish."
Yeah.
And I'd say, "Oh no, but I was scalloped yesterday." Or, "Yeah, I was in Bournemouth with Harry."
Yeah.
And Harry's desperate to come here, and Harry was telling me stories about you, and then he'd tell me stories about Harry, and he'd just say, "Right, get out there and sweat it out."
Yeah.
You know, it was Monday. He was going to work here anyway. He didn't want you. He didn't. Although he was the one to leave the stadium, he still didn't mind you being like that, as long as he got the best out of you. You know, and I think that's what the best managers do.
Yeah.
And I know Joe Royle did it. And I know for a fact he brought me back to get a dressing room together.
Yeah.
So it worked then. I'm not sure. I think they do it in different ways today. They still should be that camaraderie and that will to fight for your teammates and to get to know them as people and friends and to socialise and it's not the same.
Right.
But there should be ways of doing it. You should have your friends in a dressing room. It should be a unit. You're going to get the odd one or two, but you can work on them. You know, some of them back in the day, and they were honestly the non-drinkers. But I think it sets a tone for you, and by Bill letting you be a man as well, and organise yourself and sort yourself. You knew if you shouldn't have gone out. Or you should have gone out. Yeah. You know if you can break a curfew, you can't break a curfew. Yeah. Billy was somebody I wanted to impress. He same with Joe, because they had faith in you and trust in you. You know, I wanted to do well for them. They generated that towards you. You know, he had faith in me. I want to repay that. Yeah. And I felt like that with most managers. I wasn't captain everywhere, but I felt like that with most managers. You're all going to have your fallouts. You know, me and Harry had plenty, but I still respect the man as a manager. And we talked about him being the England manager. Look, England don't do that. Right. Cloughy should have been England manager. They wouldn't do that. Yeah. Is it about success or is it about looking right, sounding right, acting right? There's a difference. Like I said, the England manager can still, probably not Gaza, he can still give you a license to go and do what you want to do. Right. And then trust you to perform, you know? Yeah. You don't want that media attention if you're doing the wrong things, right? Because it just puts added pressure on you. Now you have to win. I think players have more confidence in themselves than the manager actually does, because the player knows what his body can do and what it's capable of, and if he can recover from certain things. And we all know, mate. We were West Ham. We were a group of players. We were always one pint away from disaster. It was always push it that far. It could take that one more before the shit hit the fan and we were in deep trouble, you know? Yeah. But I was still part of a group which I don't know if people realise that stabilised the club. You know, when I first went, relegation promotion, not good enough for the Premier League, too good for the second division. And then through the 90s, the Premier League, we stabilised the club. You know, and I don't think that group of players get enough credit for that. Yeah. Do you think as captain under Billy then, do you think that you were saying that he led by example and there was always, you know, you always wanted to impress him and keep him happy and play for him. Was there a link between you as captain and him that sort of, you know, did he go through you and then you sort of, whether it was spoken about or not, but you looked at other players like you should be working for him as well, like you should be keeping things up because of it as well? Or like I said, that season, mate, we had success, so it was hard to find fault in anybody. Yeah. You know, look, I mean, I was captain while Tony Gale was playing, while Alvin was playing, and these are way more experienced players than me who had their time as captain, but they were still leaders. So I'm not saying it was me that led that team alone, you know. We had Frankie Mack up front and Trev, who were older than me. You know,
Yeah.
there was older, more experienced
But
players.
the younger ones coming in, I mean...
Yeah, there was, you know, Stuart Slater, Kevin Keane, you know, Georgie Parrish was there, similar age. Martin Allen, as I said, Peter Butler. You know, it was, for me, it was everybody wanted. Look, that the Oldham game that season, where I ended up scoring a pen and then giving a pen away, which I think cost us the season. When I said we lost the title in the last game of the season, if we'd have beat Notts County at home, we'd have won it, and we lost 2-1. But Oldham won it. I take it back to Oldham away, where we ended up drawing 1 each, and I gave a penalty away in the last minute. We were 1-0 up. I scored, I think, with 20 minutes left. That would have killed them off, I think. I think that the loss against Notts County would have been irrelevant. I think it'd have killed them off, because I think the last game of the season, they were 2-0 down, and they ended up coming back to 3-2 and winning the title on that game. And I think they scored 2 goals in injury time.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd have had the drive in them if they were so far behind. So I take responsibility for that, you know. And that's still saying the lad who gave the penalty away, he played me.
Right.
You know, he's felt my arm stuck out.
Yeah.
He's felt my arm on him, rolled around my arm. I didn't grab him at all.
Yeah.
He's rolled around my arm and fell down.
So he was ahead of his time then. He was
Well,
playing like today's players.
Would you have gone to the VAR souls back then?
I would have gone, VAR souls, help me out here.
Yeah.
To be fair then, as soon as that happened, Gailey roasted me.
Did he?
I'm his captain, and he roasted me. He went,
Did you not tell him though? That it
well,
wasn't
I knew he couldn't see that side of me.
Yeah.
Gailey was this side of me, so he just assumed.
I would just go into fight mode at that point.
Well, obviously, I'm wanting to fight now.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to fight
now
now.
that you've just lost it. Yeah.
I just threw things away.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
know what I mean?
but it's not actually your fault. So it's
Well,
and then you have your own teammates saying. But then
it is my fault for chasing back in the first place.
Yeah. There you go.
So that leads me to a question that actually we can bring around to Chelsea, because I know we don't really touch on Chelsea much in this podcast, but Connor is a Chelsea fan. So the importance I'm getting at, right, the link between the manager and the captain, right? I think that's an extremely... You don't always see it. You don't always understand how much it means to a club.
The dynamic
right?
of it all.
Yeah, exactly. To any captain. I mean, you were saying that West Ham team... I mean, from what it sounds like, it almost sounds like there was 9 or 10 or 11 captains, you know. That might be a little different, but it might have been bred from the manager, right? So the link between the manager and the captain, looking at today's teams, like the big clubs, like, you know, hate to say it, Man United, obviously, but they're not doing, and I love to say this, they're not doing as well as as their namesake,
I don't even
as
know
their
the Man
name,
United
right?
captain is.
I mean,
who's the Man United captain?
I think it's Maguire.
I think it is.
I think it flops between Maguire, Pogba, and De Gea.
It does, but I think Maguire has become the captain.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's that link, that chemistry between Solskjaer and Maguire. And I think Maguire's maybe doing a better job than the last few, at least when Pogba was. And
yeah,
I mean,
Pogba's
an
individual player. He's not a captain, you know.
Right, but yeah, exactly. So you're surprised about how well Lampard's doing with Chelsea this season. Is that fair to say?
No, I'm surprised. No, I'm surprised at how shit this season is that they're allowing Chelsea to do this well.
Okay, but does it have something to do with the relationship between Lampard and Azpilicueta that isn't seen from the surface? Is it feeding through the squad? Maybe Azpilicueta.
I think it's a lot to do with the other teams being shit.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Okay,
Tottenham, United, Arsenal.
Yeah.
I mean, you
that's
look
why
at
they're up there.
Yeah,
you look at this is Azpilicueta's worst season.
Yeah,
yes,
football wise that he's ever had. Lampard has made some dodgy decisions, like he has done his whole career.
But is he getting
it's
by?
Played off
because Chelsea have finished 11th or 12th a few seasons ago.
11th, yeah.
So he's doing.
No. But he's doing a Lampard. He's doing what Lampard's done for the last 20 years.
You don't think it has anything to do with any chemistry he has with players? Because
I would love. That's why I would have loved John Terry to be there.
Yeah.
As much as I kind of think John Terry's a dick. I don't know if I should say that or not, but I love.
He's a big unit, mate. Let's hope he's not listening.
No, I don't care. He's
I've been watching
forever want to be
Yeah.
forever want to be my favorite players ever.
Yeah.
You know, and best England captain. In
I
my
would have
opinion.
him there, mate. I would have him back there as a driving force.
Even as a defender, as someone that didn't really play out, and as much as I like, the Watford manager was a goalkeeper.
Centre back.
Was he?
Pearson, yeah. Centre back, mate. He was a leader as well. Yeah.
No,
Watford?
Wolves.
Sorry, yeah, Wolves.
Yeah, Nuno Espirito Santos
the
was a goalkeeper. I am 5 pints in, so
I couldn't even get out my words before.
Nuno.
So
NES.
As much as I don't want a defender as my manager,
I don't think it matters.
I think it does because I don't think defenders know how to play.
Well, tactically, I think it's different. Yeah.
Exactly. I would rather a midfielder, but I would rather have Terry over Lampard because I think Terry understands the game.
Well,
more
what about
than
Terry
Lampard
with Lampard?
Koeman's a decent manager.
I'd have Terry and then Lampard as assistant. I wouldn't have the opposite way around.
Koeman is an alright manager. He's
he is. Yeah. Different
not
times.
Crazy.
So. Yeah.
But anyway,
Sorry, I don't know what your question was.
It's all right. I was just trying to.
The relationship between because he used to play. See, I liked it with. I wanted Zola.
Yeah.
To stay and not be assistant. I wanted him to.
Manager.
Yeah, exactly. Because.
Yeah, but I think he needs a voice alongside him, mate. He needs a strong personality like Terry.
If Terry had Zola.
Well, I wanted him to do so well at West Ham. I remember doing an interview. I don't know what.
I mean, he's the reason why I started supporting Chelsea. So.
Yeah, I know. But when he became West Ham manager, I remember doing an interview.
I love that. Yeah,
he's the right man. I couldn't be happier having him than anybody else. And then obviously it didn't work.
I mean, I forgot who it was. I love these stories that you're talking about with Billy Bonds joining in a training session and out playing or working harder. I forgot who it was. It was a West Ham player. And he talks about how Zola, when he joined the club, and he came in, and it was like we had all the strikers. It might have been Carlton Cole. I could be wrong, but
it might have been Carlton. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying how Zola was like, "All right, you don't do this, you do this." The ball gets whipped into him. He takes 3 touches around the defender and whips it in the top corner.
Yeah.
I think it was Carlton Cole that had to go up to him and be like, "All right, you're going to have to step out the training sessions because none of us can do what you just did." Yeah. And he's sitting there at 45 years old outplaying anyone. Yeah. It's like Zidane whenever you see the videos.
Yeah.
And he's like...
Well, I think the point I was trying to extract is that there's an underlying relationship.
What are you trying to say? You can't get a right answer out of us?
No, well, I just thought, I mean, what you...
with the connection, like how Arteta is to Arsenal.
And just bringing it back to City, I think Pep misses company. And
wait a minute. You've just touched on something then. So Arteta and Xhaka. That's dog shit.
So can you always blame the manager, though? Or does it... I think it should be looked at as the manager and the captain.
You brought it up in... the podcast that we did,
Manchester's Blue.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
we are.
Me and Geordie did.
Yeah,
there's no Chelsea on it.
Yeah, about company coming back and working on the Pep, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
that would be, but you don't go.
Even just to sit him in the dressing room.
Yeah, but his first steps into management, he's going to want to go on from that.
I know,
manager.
All right, but watch him go and fail.
Company isn't a manager right now. He's a player manager. But he has a manager that manages while on game day. That he's not the manager anymore.
That, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so
player manager and manager that manages the managers.
So I watched an interview with him, and he's a player manager, right? So he manages the team, and then on game day, he's not technically the manager.
Well, if he's playing.
Yeah,
he can't be on the side as well.
No, but I mean, it's just
he's got a good relationship.
My point is, I just want company back. Yeah, exactly. It's him and him. But yeah, anyway. So I mean, either way, just looking forward to the Premier League getting back to it. Is what this whole conversation was.
I can't wait. Let's hope they don't find too much fault with what's happened in Germany this weekend. It's not over. No Bayern play tomorrow. I don't think there's a couple of games tomorrow. Let's hope that there's no mindless idiots that go and spoil it.
Yeah.
Let's hope, to all intents and purposes, what it looks like on the telly, that they're adhering to all the rules. I know it doesn't look right, and we're finding fault that, okay, why didn't we wear masks outside when they're sitting 6 feet away from each other, and then they're going onto a pitch where they're tackling each other. Let's not nitpick.
No.
Let's hope nobody's sick after the weekend. Let's hope they don't find anybody that's contracted something while the games have been going on.
Mm-hmm.
And let's hope we follow suit in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
4 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks after my birthday.
I mean, they were saying that Dortmund players were quarantining their own hotel.
Yeah,
the
they
week
all
up
are,
to
yeah.
the week leading up. Yeah.
And
I mean
got
that
tested
must be tough.
consistently.
That's probably, as a player, that would be the toughest thing.
Yeah, right.
Because it was
about
hard
not
enough
even-
going in the
yeah.
hotel the night before. You know, I mean, look, we always had a couple of scoops to help us sleep. You know, it was boredom like you wouldn't believe. You're waiting.
There wouldn't be a big enough bar for you to 6 feet apart.
I don't know if I did tell you the story where we were playing Blackburn away. Please stop me if I've told you. And Harry was the
I thought
manager.
you said police stopped me. If I've told
Not
you.
that night. Not that night. No, I was in the hotel and sharing the room with Dixie. And I used to take Dixie a half bottle of Jack Daniels for a Friday night.
Yeah.
And I'd have like 4 cans of Guinness. Some lads used to take sleeping tablets now. The night before the game, look, you do find it different. I wasn't the best sleeper anyway.
Yeah.
I think you know that. Even on a regular night, I wouldn't get 3 hours or whatever. But 4 pints of Guinness would do the trick. Cans of Guinness. Anyway, it's December and I think we're playing Blackburn away. And I've decided to cool my beers on the window ledge, on the frost. So there's like a quadrant in the middle of the hotel in Haydock. And I've put my beers on the window ledge. And Jules would, I swear, the half bottle of Jack Daniels, he would do it all neat. Not in one, but through the night while we were talking or watching something or, you know. And he'd still be our best player the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get drunk on it, to tell you the truth. A half bottle of Jack Daniels, he didn't get drunk on it. I don't know what he did get drunk on, to be fair. But anyway, so we're walking from dinner over the other side of the hotel and I'm talking to Harry and we're just talking football and we go and stand by the window and I look across and I can see me 4 pints of Guinness on the window ledge. So I've had to call Marshy over, get Marshy to distract Harry and sort of chat with him a little bit while I legged it. I went round, opened the window and got me Guinness in off the window ledge.
Yeah. That's funny. Good story to end on then.
Yeah.
So hopefully football's back. I know we've got plenty more of your stories to get to in the future episodes with other people. And
My book's not going to make anything, is it?
No.
I think,
You need to learn how to read and write first.
me film, me movie isn't going to make anything. You're going to know all the stories.
well, I mean, I think our listeners appreciate that you're donating them to the podcast. So, you know, it's
good like
also
that. I'm good like that.
Also, there's more. I think you can get more emotion out of hearing it come out your mouth rather than written on a page. You know, so
Yeah, I believe you. Yeah.
better.
That's why I haven't done the book yet.
Yeah, that's why. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening in. You can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. We've got 5pintsin.com set up as well. If you want to tell anyone about the podcast, you can just send them there. I do want to just give one more shout out to Manchester is Blue. The episode with us will be coming out. I don't know when. The
Quality
next few
podcast,
days.
yeah. Quality
Next few days,
podcast. Cost not just
Yeah,
those. They've
lovely
got some
fellas.
great guests on there.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
lads,
it's
yeah.
hilarious. Yeah.
But Tom and Dan were great. They had a great question for Ian that you'll have to listen to the podcast.
At the
I'll
very
just,
end, yeah.
yeah, I won't spoil it, but it was a very unique question where Ian had to pick 5 of his roommates to do something unique with, and that's all I'll give you. So, so definitely check that out when it comes out. We'll post it on Twitter as soon as we have that link. So, guys, thanks again.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and
It's been good.
talk to you next time.
Shut up.